So listen to this from CNN. Pentagon officials are holding informal discussions about how the Department of Defense would respond if Donald Trump issues orders to deploy active duty troops domestically. He's not going to do that. He might call out the National Guard with the permission of the state, the governor. I mean, that's what he did last time. And fire large swaths of apolitical staffers. Well, I think he could do that. I could see that happening. Trump has suggested he would be open to using active duty forces for domestic law enforcement. He's talking in case of mass riots all over the country and mass deportations. Wait a minute. Why is the Pentagon involved in mass deportations? What? Why are they discussing this? He has indicated he wants to stack the federal government with loyalists and clean out the corrupt actors in the U.S. national security establishment. I don't know about you. I'm for non-corrupt actors, to be in our government, corrupt actors to be nowhere in our government. Trump in his last term had a fraught relationship with much of his senior military leadership, including now retired General Mark Milley, who took steps to limit Trump's ability to use nuclear weapons while he was chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. First of all, let me just say this. If you are worried at all about Donald Trump using nuclear weapons, you haven't heard a thing he said. Second, you need to read Nuclear War by, what's her name, Stu? Annie Jacobson. You need to read Nuclear War by Annie Jacobson. It is terrifying. Donald Trump has read it. Donald Trump knows it inside and out. Donald Trump has said over and over and over again, why is no one talking about the use of nuclear weapons? That can never happen. There's no way to win, and it will destroy all life on the planet. He gets the use of nuclear weapons. So why is the Pentagon trying to limit his use of nuclear weapons? If he ever asks for the football, it is your constitutional duty to give it to him. Now, if you think he's impaired, that's when the 25th Amendment comes in. But no one, this is a civilian-run military. You don't have the right to subvert the president of the United States. That's not honoring the Constitution. There's no right for you to do that. None. The cabinet can, but you can't. In fact, in Annie Jacobson's book, it's a little terrifying because you realize no man can make this decision in 6 minutes. And you actually only have about 2 once you have all the information. There's nobody that could make this decision wisely and completely. Nobody. This is what Gorbachev and Reagan came to. They both actually looked at it, both talked about it and said that we can never fight this because we'll both lose. Everybody will lose. And that's where Donald Trump is. So thank you, Mark Milley, for limiting Trump's ability to use nuclear weapons. God. The president-elect, meanwhile, has repeatedly called U.S. military generals woke, weak, and ineffective leaders. You disagree with any of that? The Pentagon leadership, woke, weak, and ineffective leaders.
No, Glenn, I want ineffective leaders.
Especially woke ones.
I want woke. And it's obvious. These are things that are not always easy to figure out, right? But if you know who they are, you get them out of there immediately.
It's pretty easy to figure out with the string of successes they've given us here in the last 4 years.
Right. You just got to find the right people to replace them.
Correct.
Not always easy.
And by the way,
certainly the goal you should be aspiring to.
They're saying you can't let him do this to the military. Excuse me. What did Biden do the first few days in office? He told the military to stand down worldwide. He shut them down so they could do a witch hunt, so they could find out who's naughty, who's nice, who's voted for Trump, who says popular things about Trump, and who's on our side. And they fired those people.
Yeah, and there's some questions on some of the stuff as to how far executive power reaches. The commander-in-chief of the military indicates he has the right to do these types of things.
Yes,
pretty clearly.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, the mandate that he just got also tells us he has the right to do this. Now, I'm not for him getting a bunch of zombies in there going, yes, Donald Trump. That's not what he's looking for. That's not what I'm looking for. Remember, this is a guy who doesn't want war. My gosh, the left should be all for this guy. Anyway, we're all preparing and planning for the worst case scenario. But the reality is we don't know how this is going to play out yet. They are wargaming the next president of the United States. Think about that. The Pentagon is having secret meetings wargaming what they'll do against Donald Trump. That, just in and of itself, all of those people should be fired. Troops are compelled by law to disobey unlawful orders. Yes. I remind the troops all the time. Every time I'm with troops, I always say, thank you for your service, blah, blah, blah. Remember, you serve the Constitution. Not a man, the Constitution. And I stand by that today, even with Donald Trump getting in. You honor the Constitution. Troops are compelled by law to disobey, but the question is, what happens then? Do we see resignations from senior military leaders, or will they view that as abandoning their people? I don't think your people. Nobody that I know that's down the fighting men and women, nobody thinks that the people at the very top are their people. They just don't. Those are they're politicians in military outfits. That's all they are. That's all they are. And they know it.